What's up, guys? Matt Brown here, thelines.com. Let's talk some Monday Night Football between the Packers and the Raiders. As we sit right now, this thing is, as you see on our handy-dandy little page here, 1.5 to 2 in favor of the Raiders at home over at the Death Star in Vegas. 45.5 is your prevailing total, though there is a flat 45 and there is a 46. So do your shopping around in all of this, guys. As always, everything we do absolutely free. So if you want to go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. Do appreciate it. Thumbs up button, all the different little things to help us out. We do appreciate your support in all of this. So heading into this game, the big story was kind of the injury report stuff. And we'll go over here to Packers Wire, and you can see Aaron Jones questionable, Jair Alexander questionable, Rudy Ford questionable, Eric Stokes all questionable. Now, word has come through this morning already. Jair Alexander is going to play. So he's going to give it a go after missing the last 2 games. Very good news for the Packers. Aaron Jones apparently is actually questionable, but is leaning towards the good side of playing. Rudy Ford did get in a couple of practices this week. He's a starting safety for this team, so certainly need to get him out there. And Eric Stokes actually hadn't played since the middle of last year, but he got in some practices as well. They would have to activate him off the physically unable to perform list and all that for him to be able to play, but he is at least a guy that could be out there. Other thing that happened for the Packers, because this was a mini bye for them. Remember, they played last Thursday, so 10 days between games. Eldon Jenkins got healthy. Luke Musgrave cleared the concussion protocol. Zach Tom got healthy. And then Christian Watson also not even listed on the injury report at all. So pretty good injury report top to bottom for the Packers. If we talk about the Raiders in this, and I'll continue to scroll so you guys can start to read along here with some of this stuff. The Raiders do get Jimmy Garoppolo back. He cleared concussion protocol. And then Davante Adams, if you remember, left last week with a shoulder injury. Word coming through from Tom Pelissero this morning that he is going to give it a go, despite the fact that he was DNP on Thursday, DNP on Friday, and then a limited on Saturday. He's at least going to give it a go. You got to figure that Davante Adams was going to miss this matchup against his former team, but it's worth noting. As of Monday morning, he is going to give it a go. That could change. Be sure and look at the official injury report 90 minutes before kickoff. So what do we get in these two teams? You get a Packers defense that has been really, really bad against the run. You get a Raiders defense that has been really, really bad against the pass. They are going to be down Nate Hobbs, a starting corner. 2 other corners are questionable for them already. We just talked about Christian Watson getting no injury designation whatsoever in this game for the Packers. So you would say advantage Packers in the pass game and probably advantage Raiders in the run game, considering we don't know what's going on with Aaron Jones in this thing. We do know that Josh Jacobs finally showed some signs of life last week for this Raiders team after kind of really just being a dude that was out on the field for the first few weeks of the season. That could due to the fact that he was a holdout and didn't do any preseason stuff, and maybe he needed a little bit of time to kind of break into game speed yet again. We're going to kind of bank on that in this one, because if we go over here, and of course, guys, if you have not utilized this over on the lines, what are you doing? You see that homepage right there in the center, player prop tool. You bring it here, you can type in anybody's name, and when you do that, it'll bring up all the best places to go and get their props. And you can see right now, Josh Jacobs this is actually bumped up 2 yards this morning. And so I guess people are hitting this under the same thought that I am, that Davante Adams being out there actually is better for Josh Jacobs from a rushing prop standpoint, because you cannot focus all your attention on Josh Jacobs. You're going to have to pay a lot of attention to Davante Adams. And so with that, this was sitting at 70. I actually got in a 72.5, but hey, look, we'll take 74.5 on the over. They're going to at least try to get Josh Jacobs going here, and we just have to bet on the opportunity, right? I mean, they're going to give him a bunch of carries against a rush defense that can be had. What will the efficiency look like in a pretty bad offensive line? That's to be determined, but you look, and this Green Bay team has defended the run so poorly against everyone so far that I don't know if it'll matter all that much that this Raiders offensive line isn't the greatest, but we'll have to see how it all plays out. We're going to bank on Jacobs getting the opportunity, and if we get the opportunity that we can get some sort of efficiency here, and maybe even some sort of little run that that can kind of get us there with some sort of breakout explosive play type deal. We just need kind of one 20-yarder, and then I would feel pretty confident about this because he's going to get the volume to go with it. So that's where we're going to attack first and foremost here is Josh Jacobs in this run game against this pretty poor run defense for the Packers so far. Secondly, we are going to, and we just mentioned, we're going to attack this thing with Christian Watson. Over the 42.5 receiving yards, he is currently listed from a prop standpoint as the number 2 guy for the Packers. Romeo Doubs' passing total is actually 5 yards higher than Christian Watson's. Reason for this is that Romeo Doubs has had to be the de facto number 1. He's had to be that guy for them so far because Watson has either been out or he has been injured. And you also remember they were without Luke Musgrave as well. So Doubs was getting even more stuff. Well, those guys are back. Christian Watson coming off of the 10 days of practice here, not only to get fully healthy, but to get really fully acclimated back into this offense and be that number 1 dude against a pass defense that currently, if we look, 30th in pass defense EPA, 25th in pass defense success rate, 27th pass defense DVOA. You get the point. The Raiders don't defend the pass very well, and they're injured at the position. Cluster injury situation. So here's where Christian Watson proves that he is the wide receiver 1. And guess what? Even if he's not, we're only asking for 43 yards. He didn't even have to be a super alpha here. We're not asking for one of these wide receiver 1 type totals. We're not needing 75 yards that we see on a bunch of these wide receiver 1s. We need 43. We need 43 yards out of Christian Watson. I think we get it here against this Raiders secondary that is just all kinds of banged up and can't do anything. And the other part about this is their pressure rate is terrible. So they don't get any pressure on the quarterback whatsoever. And so if they don't get any pressure on the quarterback from a clean pocket, Jordan Love has actually been good. The problem is when pressure hits. And when pressure hits, that's when things go south. But fortunately, no Chandler Jones out there. You know, he's been jettisoned here by the Raiders. So teams can really just focus on stopping Max Crosby. And with that, that's going to lead to a lot of help for Jordan Love. So Raiders are 31st in pressure rate so far this year. So clean pocket, Jordan Love's been good this year. Under pressure, Jordan Love's been terrible. Good for us, right? We're not going to get any pressure on him. He's not going to have to worry about it. By the way, his offensive line is healthy too. So those are the 2 prop plays. Those are the real big plays in this one. The 2, I lean towards the Packers. I lean towards taking the points. If you wanted to open up a teaser leg and roll it into next week, you could do that. If you haven't checked out our odds page, what you'll see is, what you'll see is there are a couple of other opportunities. It's not showing week. I've got to go to week 6 here. So whenever I pop up week 6, you can see. So if we opened up a Packers teaser leg at the 2 and bring it up to 8, you can see there are some opportunities. Commanders up to 8.5 against the Falcons. You could go Seattle. There's 2.5s out here. Seattle up to 8.5 against Cincinnati if you liked that angle. You can see the Texans up to 8.5 at home in a game with a 40.5 total against the Saints. You could go in that direction. So there are some options. This is likely to get to 7 with the Eagles. You could bring them down in a teaser. You could take the Chargers up if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend that one, but it is an option if you wanted to do that. So there are some dance partners for a teaser leg with the Packers this week if you did want to go in that direction. And if not, certainly if it gets to 3, it'll be in my account for sure. I actually have a better lean towards the over. Like we said, we're getting a team here that is going to be able to throw the ball. We're getting another team, and despite the fact I know running, you think like, oh, you run unders, right? You know, run it ticks and stuff. But yeah, but if you're efficient running the ball, it doesn't really matter. You're still moving the ball down the field in chunks, and you're going to score points, right? We just can't have the Raiders come up empty on some of these drives. But I do have a pretty decent lean towards the over as well. Now that we know that Devontae Adams is going to be back out there for sure for the Raiders, and then, this really positive injury news coming from the Packers side of things as well. 45.5 would be an overplay for me. Not super strong like the props, a whole lot better, but that would be the other angle here for me. So pretty strong lean to the Packers. Would definitely be in the account at 3. Might still make it at 2. Could be a teaser leg. Could be a same game teaser if you like to go that direction with the Packers and an over ticket in your account too. So there is multiple different ways that we can go about playing this puppy. But as always, guys, everything we do absolutely free. So please, again, subscribe, rate, review, do all the different little stuff like that. Let us know in the comment section how you're playing this thing. Up here in the right-hand corner, that is the Discord. That's where you get all the latest and greatest from everyone on the staff. So they're updating things constantly throughout the day inside the Discord. That is also free, so be sure and take advantage of that as well. Good luck on all your Monday Night Football bets.